Welcome to Forever, man. Let's go.
Hi everyone, I'm Allie Long. I play soccer for the U.S. Women's National Team in OL Reign. I'm the host of today's show, The Conference Call. I'm with two fantastic footballers, both playing in Spain. Claire, she plays for Huelva, and Jackie, who plays for Tenerife. So, thank you guys for joining. I'm really excited to talk to you. I love Spanish soccer, so I'm so excited to hear your thoughts on everything. Okay, so when did you guys start playing soccer, and did you play any other sports growing up?
So I started playing soccer probably when I was like 8 years old, and it was basically, I don't really remember too much. My mom told me that basically I started because someone in my class was talking about tryouts for soccer, and I was always active growing up, so I always wanted to try the newest sport and newest thing, and so after that tried out, and then I just fell in love with the sport, so I continued playing it.
Cool. Did you play any other sports like during that time, or it was just soccer?
I played softball, basketball. Basketball and soccer were the two main sports that I played. I swam. And yeah, I tried anything, honestly, but those were the only sports that I did like recreationally.
That's awesome. What about you, Jackie?
So I was playing when I was 4, just because my older sister was playing and I wanted to be like her. She's 4 years older than me, so I got into it pretty young and used to play with the boys and stuff like that. So obviously I don't really remember that either, but that's probably when I started. I played a bunch of other sports too, but like softball, gymnastics, basketball, but I wasn't like that good at them, so.
But you guys both went to school in Florida. Claire, you went to University of Florida, go Gators, and
yeah.
Jackie, you went to University of South Florida. Have you guys ever played against each other, and like are your schools rivals at all?
We played against each other in spring in our off season a lot, and Claire actually played center back most of the time, so we never went like head to head and stuff. But I wouldn't say our teams are direct rivals. Like all Florida schools, I feel like have beef with each other, but ours was UCF because we were in the same conference too.
Too many players in the U.S. that probably go either they just go onto a different career path, or they like follow their dreams and want to go pro. So I respect so much that you guys just went straight overseas. So I kind of just wanted to talk about that, and how important was your experience in going overseas into Europe?
I think it's super big. It's not even about football. It is about football, but like I think it's just you learn so much about yourself and life, because like in the United States we're kind of in our own bubble, right? And so when you leave to go to Europe, it's like your beliefs and the way you think is challenged, and then you have to adapt to the culture and the way people think and how they think about life. And so for me, I think it was big. It was kind of like a cultural shock for me, because it was just like I was around people that thought differently, acted differently, interpreted me differently. And so like not only did I have to adapt to the football, but I had to adapt to the lifestyle. And I did take some tumbles and some spills, and like I had some downfalls and some moments where like I wasn't happy and it was really difficult. But I think in the end, like I'm so glad I went through it. And also Germany is very different than Spain, but yeah, like I am so happy that I did it.
I was in Orlando for a little bit, and then I was like, I still want to keep playing. So it's kind of like either you're done playing or you're going to keep playing overseas, kind of like you said. What Claire said is spot on, but they also have a different style of play. All of their players, like the ball is glued to their foot, and they just are super tactically aware, and they just move off the ball. They're so smart. They like pull off your shoulder, all that stuff. So definitely a different type of playing than I was used to in the States, because we still played a little bit because we had a lot of international presence in my team, but it was just definitely different physically and tactically and technically, all that stuff. But also a huge component of my game is communication, and coming to Spain, I couldn't speak the language, so I had to like up and move to a new culture, a new language, everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So also like knowing that you can learn a new language and like you have the capacity to do whatever you want. It's pretty cool.
And feels like almost the biggest difference, or just little things that you notice like right away or over time?
Well, I think in the United States, it's more. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Right.
It's like, I think it's more. I think in the United States, it's more physicality and athleticism, and like power. Here, I think it's more technical and tactical. Not to say that in the United States it's not like that either, but it's just you can tell the difference. Yeah.
It's okay. It's the truth. We run like crazy and
random, but the fields here are way smaller than the fields in the U.S. Like the fields in the U.S. 120 by 80. Here they're like maybe like 1.
Really?
They're tiny. Like when I first got here, I kicked a ball and I was like, oh, that's gotta change because too far. I was like, oh gosh.
More on keeping the ball and less athleticism, because I feel like naturally I'm pretty athletic. But it's just but it's fun. Also just like kind of what we were saying earlier, it's just I love the culture here. I love learning the language. I love the way they think, and so for me it's not only football, but it's like growing and learning about life essentially.
Cool. And so Jackie, you actually played for Tenerife, you left and went back. What is it about Tenerife that you love so much, besides it being on a beautiful island that I recently just learned?
So, one, the temperature. I am a Florida girl through and through, so I hate the cold. So I left because I really love learning like the new culture, the new language, everything like that. So I was like, okay, if I loved it this much, maybe I can, go out and learn it again and do it in another place. And I actually left and I was like, wow, I didn't realize how happy I was there, just because, like Claire said, they're possession oriented. They keep the ball, they build out the back, which is like what I like to do. And obviously the physical part comes because I feel like in the US you just have to have that. So I don't know, I just really like the combination of both. And then coming back was just like, I loved the team, I loved the girls. Like the people here were just so nice. Their culture is just so nice. I don't know how to compare. I'm not going to say that like everyone else out there in Europe is like colder, but Spanish people just like accept you and they're like, hey, let's go get a coffee for 3 hours and talk. Sick, let's go.
You scored a historic goal versus FC Barcelona, one of my favorite teams. Was that like the best moment in football in your career so far? Do you remember everything that had to do with the goal?
Yeah. So it actually was off a corner and it kind of like bounced around a little bit and I kind of just like toe poked it in.
Amazing.
I mean, a goal is a goal, but no, it's definitely a highlight just because everyone around me was so happy and it was just they've never beat them before, let alone in a home game, and they have the most fans probably they've ever had, and so everyone was just going crazy. And then we played in like we played in the 5-back and everyone was just like a block in the net. Yeah, exactly. Everyone was just like, don't let up. And I don't know, that was like a big team win. So I don't know, it was more like everyone else around me was like, oh.
How you guys feel that you've grown as a player from just from college, from leaving, going straight to Europe and kind of like playing in different clubs, but as a player, like tactically and technically, like how do you feel you've grown and changed?
Oh, I chose to go to Spain because I wanted to work on my technical side. Like, even when I was in Orlando, I'm not like bad with my feet, but I wasn't as comfortable on the ball as I should have been. It was like my own confidence thing. So Tom was like, we need to get your feet better before you'll like play and stuff. I was like, okay, cool. So I knew that in Spain they were like tactically and technically aware. So I came here to get better at that. And I definitely think that I've gotten way better and more comfortable, just me personally on the ball, like not panicking when I have it and those types of things. And I definitely think that I've learned the game more as well, just because they analyze it and they break it down and they're just like constantly, like we don't do anything without the ball. So definitely like tactically and technically.
Sounds so fun.
I'd agree. I think like my vision and decision making got better because I feel like with the Spanish game, they're all about anticipating the next play. Like as the ball's coming, they already have an idea where they're passing to. So I think that was the biggest thing that I like gained by coming over to Europe.
Welcome to Forever, man. Let's
Who
go.
is your favorite player, male and female, that's playing right now currently?
But I definitely like to watch Marcelo play. I don't know why. I don't know what it
Because
is
he's
about him.
legit.
Yeah, because he's a baller. That's why. No, I really like to watch Marcelo. Players, I typically like to watch players that play my position. I like to watch Becky. She's like so consistent
smart.
and just makes any mistakes. How do you do that? I used to like to watch in my position too. So Julie and Becky are definitely good players.
I like Messi and Rose Lavelle. Rose is from Ohio, so I gotta represent Ohio.
Okay, so what is the best stadium that you guys have played in? Out of all the like leagues and different places you've played, what's your like favorite stadium?
I think Johan Cruyff Stadium, the Barcelona Stadium. I played there last year with Sevilla, and it's super nice, and their fans are amazing.
The first one that came to my mind was when we played in Prague and we got to play in the men's, like Sparta men's stadium for Champions League. That was pretty cool. So that's probably my favorite so far. It just felt like it was in a giant stadium, so you're like, okay, this is legit.
Most difficult like opponent?
I would say Barcelona as a team. They're similar to Atletico Madrid, where they just move off the ball and they just feel they have this connection where it's like they're reading each other's minds. And then hardest opponent, I would say Mana Iwabuchi, the Japanese player. I played with her in Bayern.
Yeah.
We used to do 1v1s, and she would shred me. Like, she's just unbelievable with the ball at her feet. Crafty.
The first one that came to my mind was Jenny Hermoso. She's just super smart and her movements are always good and she always like finds my blind side. And I'm like, oh, there she is again. Cool. I think Atletico Madrid is super hard to play against for me because all of their players are super smart off the ball and they're constantly moving. So those would probably be the two for me.
Is there anything that you guys miss about the United States that you wish you had it in Spain besides like family?
I would probably say the environment, just because it was like every day 100%, like you're just like throwing your body into tackles and every day you're just drained. So I kind of like that environment, but like I feel like here almost it's like my brain is tired and obviously my body's tired too, but I definitely really like kind of like the character of Americans and just how we play and we like don't stop, so I definitely miss that aspect.
I miss the variety in food. Like, Spanish food's good, but like in the United States, you can go anywhere and get like Thai food, Chinese food. So I miss that sometimes.
I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to just chat with me. I love what you guys are doing and I think it's really cool and I really enjoy hearing, like, confirming everything I assume in my head that's like what you guys experience in football, so it's really cool.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks guys.
Good luck.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, you
Take
too.
care.